Good evening. It is the end of August 2019, and I'm just checking in. We are finally starting to round the bend and getting into the territory of having cabs already made as opposed to having to wait for us to make them. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. We got a cool radio show coming up. I'm still lining up some people. It's going to be probably almost a 2 hour show. I'm not going to mention any names of who's going to be on yet, but that is definitely in the works coming up here towards the middle to the end of September. There's a lot of stuff going on. I hope everybody had a good summer concert season. There's a lot of cool pictures of everybody jamming and doing some good shows on Instagram. I want to thank Eric Morgan from A Pale Horse Named Death. He's been lugging his Oslo and bass bomb all over the country and posting it on Facebook and Instagram and tagging us to it constantly. Him, Paul Priest, Steve and Nick Balcom from the Balcom Brothers. Those guys have all been super busy. Excuse me. We've got some really cool new speaker cables on the website. If you go to the website, actually, if you go there within the next 3 days, like by Tuesday, when you go there, there's like a pop-up thing that comes up. It's secure. It's not like a spam pop-up thing. With a coupon code to give you 20% off any and all speaker and signal cables. And there's also 20% off all of our wiring harness kits. So that's going on. We've got some cool stuff that we're starting to carry for pedal board manufacturing. We're actually not going to be making the pedal boards, but we've got some cool stuff for people that want to make their own. It's kind of obscure, hard to find stuff unless like you're a distributor or a retail place where the manufacturer wants you to buy hundreds of them in order to be able to get them. We've got them, so if you just need a couple of things here and there, you can get them from us and not have to spend a ton of money to get what you need, like effects send and return loop ports, cable looms, internal cable organization kits, little stuff like that, stuff just to make life easier for the pedal board stuff. We've got a cool new cab coming out. It's going to be 300 watts. It's a 4x6 for bass. And the prototype's done. It hits super hard. It's really loud. It's very focused. It's not that heavy. It's 17 inches wide. And I'm sorry. It is 16 inches wide and I'm sorry. Good Lord. It's sorry, I lost my feed there for a second. It's 17 inches wide and 16 inches tall. It's got a single 2-inch port in dead center, which is more for letting the speakers breathe, not so much for extending the low end. The speakers and the way the cab is made does that just fine on its own. The port is actually there so the speakers can breathe back and forth a little bit easier. And of course that comes with the Neutrik Speak-On, which brings me to my other point. We also are making some really nice Neutrik Speak-On NLFX2 cables with the lock. We've got 15 different colors. We can do it with the Neutrik Speak-On one end and 1/4 inch straight or right angle on the other end. And same with the guitar signal cables. We can do the straight, right, in 15 colors. We've got all kinds of adapters and stuff for the wiring harnesses that we do. I've got a cool thing coming out for amps with an effects loop. It's an effects loop blender. I'll have that posted on Instagram probably this week. It's done. I'm actually just playing with it myself. It's really cool. You plug the effects loop out to the end of this thing that the effects blender that I've made, and then the out of the effects blender into the end of your first pedal. Then you run your pedal chain, back around into the end of the effects blender, and then the out of the effects, or return to the amp output of the effects blender back into the effects return of your amplifier. And what this does is it allows you to run some pedals. I've noticed I'm a avid pedal collector and user, and I noticed that some of the pedals that I really like, I only like when they are dimed and running full bore. But at certain points of volume level, when you're running them like that, or when I'm running them like that, I've noticed that through the effects loop that some of those particular effects, especially a flanger, can be overpowering, and you hear more flange than you actually hear your guitar. So what the blender does is it allows you to keep the pedal dialed in at full bore, but dial the intensity of it in and out of the effects loop level a little bit. So that's coming out. That's done. I'm just waiting for the engraved label plates for that. It's got two knobs. It's got a control for the send and the return. So if you want more being sent, you can turn that up, or less, you can turn it down. And same with the return. If you want more being returned to the amp, you can turn that up. Or if you want less, so you hear more of the guitar and less of the effects pedals, you can turn it down. It's passive, doesn't take any batteries or a power adapter. So simple, really easy to use, really affordable, and that'll be available here shortly. And as usual, if anybody's got any questions, hit up the contact us form on earcandy.com. We've been getting the website worked on. It's getting tuned up really nice. As a lot of people probably have heard, Reverb.com sold itself to Etsy. And when that transition happens, Reverb as we know it will no longer exist. So keep that in mind if you're a Reverb seller. You may want to start tuning up your website and stop relying on Reverb so much, because from what I understand, here in about 45 days, it's going to be a completely different world. Why they sold it, I have no idea. I thought they had a good thing going until a lot of the cuckoo birds from eBay came over and kind of started, basically, like I read and like a lot of people say, started to turn it into eBay. So maybe they just got disenchanted with it and decided to move on, because Reverb is owned by Chicago Music Exchange, so they still have the Chicago Music Exchange. But anyway, so that's going on with Reverb. So check out our website. If you go to earcandy.com, you'll just see like a picture of an audience, and then two buttons that say "Let's Go." If you click on those, it just takes you right to earcandycabs.com, which is where everything is going on, all the cab links and descriptions and pictures and everything like that. And then the radio show will be on earcandyradio.com like it always has been. If you are a band or a manufacturer, I don't care if you're a one-man shop or Mr. Paul Reed Smith, if you'd like to be on the radio show, send us a message. You can message us directly about the radio show at music@earcandy.com. we'd love to have you on. We're not picky, and we don't talk about ear candy. If you're on the radio show, we talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. So if you got a new record coming out, or if you're a manufacturer and you got a new product coming out, please feel free to hit us up, and we'll get you on the show and talk about it. I've got a new rig going for the show. It was a kind of a long time coming. It was quite expensive, but I've got an interface that runs into a mixer, blah, blah, blah. I can take phone calls now and keep me and the guest and the caller all running into the radio show at the same time. So it's not so fragmented like it used to be a few years ago, where it's kind of cumbersome to listen to. It's a lot smoother now. I'm still working out some of the gear. Mackie hooked us up, and Tascam hooked us up with some cool stuff. And let's see who else. Akai hooked us up with some really nice stuff. So yeah, check it out. We really appreciate everybody's patience and hanging out on Instagram and all that good stuff. And again, any questions, hit us up on the Contact Us form, or shoot us a message to music, MUSIC, at earcandy.com. Hope everybody has a safe and fun Labor Day weekend. I always get Memorial Day and Labor Day mixed up. I had to think about it for a minute. All right. Happy Labor Day weekend, and we will talk to you soon.